Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something, well, something truly out there. It's a set of documents that argues for a direct, provable link between Jesus Christ and a modern-day man named Alex Enrique Campaign. Now look, we're not here to prove or disprove this. Our job is to get inside the argument itself, to really understand how it's constructed piece by fascinating piece.
Right off the bat, the source material makes a massive claim. It doesn't say this is a theory or here's an idea. No, it presents its findings as factual evidence of an undeniable connection. This is the core assertion, the whole ball of wax we're going to unpack today. So, how on earth do they try to back this up?
To get our heads around this, we have to follow the trail of evidence exactly as the source lays it out. The entire argument really rests on two main pillars. And the first one, where we're going to start, is what the document calls a numerical blueprint.
So the whole thing kicks off with numbers, specifically numerology. The source sets up what it calls a tale of two timelines, and the idea is that each one, through a specific calculation, reveals a kind of hidden message, a synchronicity.
Okay, this is where the foundation gets laid. The source sets up two different timelines. The first starts at the resurrection in 33 AD and ends in April 2005. The second one starts 2 days earlier, at the crucifixion, and ends a month later in May 2005. Now, you see they have different start and end dates, right? But here's the first big aha moment the source points to. Both timelines span the exact same number of years, 1972. That number, 1972, is presented as our first major clue.
So let's dig into that first calculation. The source calls it the resurrection alignment. It's a line drawn from that pivotal moment, the resurrection, all the way to a date in 2005, right before Alex Enrique Campaign's 33rd birthday.
According to the source's math, the number of days between those two dates is precisely 720,260. But hold on, that huge number, it's not the main event. It's what they do with it next that, for this argument, is everything.
So what do? They perform something called a digit root calculation. It's pretty simple, actually. You just take that big number, 720,260, and you add up the digits. 7 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6 plus 0, that gets you 17. You're not done yet, because you need a single digit. So you do it again. 1 plus 7 equals 8. The final result is 8.
And here's the connection, the big payoff for that first timeline. According to the source's interpretation of biblical symbols, the number 8 is all about resurrection, new beginnings, and being born again. So the mathematical result, 8, is presented as a perfect symbolic mirror of the timeline's starting point, the resurrection itself.
Okay, that's piece number one. Now let's see how the second calculation fits in. This one starts from the crucifixion, and its timeline ends on the exact date of Alex Enrique Campaign's 33rd birthday.
Now, for this new timeline, from April 3rd, 33 AD to May 5th, 2005, the source calculates the total days as 720,292. It's a slightly different number, which, as you can probably guess, is going to lead to a very different symbolic result.
And yep, you guessed it, they run the exact same play. They add up the digits. 7 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 9 plus 2. The result this time is 22. The document makes a big deal of this, flagging 22 as a special master number in numerology.
And this is where you can really see the logic clicking into place for the author. They claim that master number 22 stands for revelation light, and they connect it to the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. So this idea of light or revelation is then tied back to the sacrifice of the crucifixion, creating a second perfect parallel. All right, put a pin in the numbers for a second. The argument now makes a hard pivot. It moves from the abstract world of mathematics to something much more visceral, a visual comparison. The source calls this a visual echo across 2,000 years.
The source uses this word uncanny. And it says the reason it feels so uncanny isn't just that two faces look alike. It's the context. You have this faint, ancient, mysterious image on a piece of linen, and then a crisp, modern photograph. Two things that just shouldn't have anything to do with each other.
So the document goes through this point by point. It lays the face from the Shroud of Turin next to a photo of Alex Campaign.
It claims multiple direct one-to-one matches. The eyes, it points out, are closed in both. The nose is called a perfect match, long and narrow. The facial hair, a full beard with a parted mustache, is described as virtually identical. And the whole face shape, this long, oblong structure, is argued to be the same.
So you might be wondering, why keep using that word uncanny? Well, the source gives 3 specific reasons. First, you're seeing features from a faint old cloth image supposedly replicated perfectly in a sharp photo. Second, just the enormous gap in time, a visual shout-out across 2,000 years. And third, it's about specificity. The claim is the photo doesn't just look like any picture of Jesus, it looks specifically like the face on the shroud.
And this all leads to the source's big conclusion on the visual evidence. It basically says, look, if you just pretend for a second that you don't know there's a 2,000-year gap here, the most rational conclusion you could come to is that these are just 2 different pictures of the exact same guy.
Okay, so we've got the numbers and we've got the faces. In this final section, the document tries to braid these 2 very different threads of evidence together. The idea is that they aren't just 2 separate arguments, they're designed to lock together and reinforce each other.
And this is how they connect all the dots. You've got the resurrection timeline, which gives you the number 8, symbolizing, well, resurrection. You've got the crucifixion timeline, giving you the number 22, symbolizing revelation light. And what's the one constant, the one number that holds both of these completely different calculations together? That year span, 1972. Which, the source dramatically reveals, is the birth here of Alex Enrique Campaign.
And this brings us to the document's grand finale, its ultimate claim. The logic presented is that this isn't a coincidence. The combination of these symbolic numbers and the constant repeating appearance of the year 1972 is presented as nothing less than a divinely orchestrated temporal and mathematical proof.
And that's the argument. That's the case that the source material makes. It really leaves us with a pretty fascinating question, doesn't it? It pushes us to think about how we, as people, process claims like this. Claims that live right at the crossroads of patterns, math, and faith. What do you do with patterns that seem way too specific to be just random chance, but are built on a foundation that requires a huge leap of faith to even begin to accept? It's a real head-scratcher, and that's something to think about.